Hey, welcome to Picking Daisies, the podcast where we dive into all things messy, beautiful, and a little bit chaotic. I'm Mary Hendricks, your hot mess of a host, ready to walk with you through every laughable, cry-worthy, and grow-worthy moment. Every Tuesday, join me and an incredible lineup of fellow moms, women, and experts as they share their own stories of growth, resilience, and silver linings that they've uncovered. Together, we're building a village, a reminder that even in the thick of it, you are truly never alone. Because let's be real, we all have our mess. Everyone's got those moments. But here, we are finding the beauty in it, also the humor, and growing from whatever life and motherhood may bring our way. Welcome to Picking Daisies.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Mary. Thanks for having me.
Me too. Oh, well, me too. What was I going to say? I'm so excited.
I know. I'm so happy to be here. I feel like it has been years since I've been on here. I feel like probably
I was
a
thinking
year
about that. Yeah, because did I have you on the panel? I was thinking, did I have you come on when we did the panel? I was thinking that.
I was there, and then I did time before that, but I think that was like before Evelyn and everything. So it's been a while.
It was. I know, and that's why I wanted to have you on, because as you if you've seen, like, the whole podcast thing is like grow through what you go through, and you're currently doing that. Like, that's why I wanted you on, because I watch you and you are like me, like a few years behind, like in terms of like the 3 kids and adjusting to life with 3 kids and kind of like owning yourself again after 3 kids. And you're literally growing as you're going through this.
I was thinking the same thing, just how I've watched you grow too. And even when I met you, that was before you had Haley. A while. And so just seeing you come from that and just being in the thick of postpartum and before you had your third, after you had your third, and just how much you've grown. And so I feel like I've looked up to you this whole time too, seeing you go through those steps. And then now I'm just kind of following behind, and it feels so good. Honestly, if you were in the thick of motherhood right now and I'm not saying I'm not in the thick of it, because trust me, I am, but I feel the best that I've felt since becoming a mom right now.
Yeah. Good. That's the best thing. So, okay. Let's go back first, though. Let's start back from when we first met. We connected, like you said. That is wild. Don't you think about that sometimes? Because I think about, like, I think about COVID, because that's when all of us really got on.
That's when I started.
COVID.
Yep.
And when that happened, like, it feels like a blur. Whenever anyone brings up COVID, I'm like, I feel like a chunk of my life.
Like, there's before COVID and then after COVID.
Yeah, and it's like
it's a separation.
It really was. Like, it really just, I feel like there's a chunk of my life that's kind of like a blur, where I'm like, did we really go through that? Like, did that really all happen? Because I don't know how we made it out. Yeah, right. But then we connected through Instagram when both of us were growing. And, like, I love, like, I have such a, like, I want to say tight knit, but like, there are certain accounts that I will never probably unfollow. And I don't care about the following count. Like, it's the
you
person.
Just gravitate to, and you love to see them grow and just change through their motherhood journey. And
that's exactly what we're doing. So it's fun stuff. Okay, so you started. Tell me, let's introduce yourself. Let's go there.
Let's do that. Okay, so my name's Emily. I'm the mom behind Take a Minute Mama. I have 3 girls that are almost 7, almost 5, and 1. It is crazy. It's wild, but it's so fun. We are done. No more kids. We're good.
Not going for the boy.
No, we are not going for the boy, which don't even get me started on that. But we are, so we didn't find out the gender of our third. And I think a big part of why I was so like pushed to do that was because I didn't want to hear the comments of, oh, you didn't get your boy. You didn't get that, because it was a lot easier when I had her. I was like, oh, we had our third girl. We're good. And so not as many people were going to say, I did get the comments here and there, like, oh, you're going to go for one more to get that boy. But like, my husband literally does not care. He played football his entire life. He loves sports. He does not care.
No. Same with my husband.
Like, he loves being a girl dad. He embraces every single aspect of it. They're putting makeup on him, but he's also playing sports with them. Like, they do, the whole divide between what girls can do and what boys can do is bullshit, because they literally all do the same shit. They're all freaking wild.
All do the same shit. And like, even my son, so like, we have Spencer, and when we had Spencer, like, I was excited when we obviously found out that we were going to be having a boy. It was actually kind of, I was like in shock a little bit, because when you have you might remember this, but like when you have your first baby and then when you get pregnant with your second, it's kind of surreal because for one, you already can't believe that you already have one baby, now alone two. Like you're already like,
Yep.
how did this happen? But when I found out it was a boy, you kind of think that that second baby is going to be the same as your first, even though you know it's not. But
Yep.
when you know it's definitely not going to be the same, then you're kind of like, this is going to be completely different. Yeah, you're like, I don't know how to, like, it's just, I don't know. It was like a very weird feeling.
Yep.
But my son is like, you know, there's like the boys or whatever you want to call it. I'm like, he's a boy. But I was like, it doesn't mean anything. My husband treats him the same way as he does
Right.
my
Literally
daughters.
doesn't.
I was like,
Exactly.
they're all wild.
Each kid is different in their own personality. It doesn't matter the gender or any of that.
No, it's nuts. But
And my
okay.
husband comes from a family of like all girls. So he never thought we were going to have a boy. And there was a small part of me was just like, maybe it will be. But I think in my heart, I knew it wasn't either. And so, okay, so I started sharing when I was pregnant with my second. I was working part-time and I just wanted to connect with other moms. I saw other moms doing it and I thought, I can do that. I'm outgoing. I like talking to people. So I'm going to start doing that. And the whole goal of all of that was just connecting, making other moms feel less alone. And that's kind of where that all started. And then my second completely rocked my world because I thought, just like you did, I thought my first, it's going to be the same kind of experience. Like I had I feel like a good experience with my first. I didn't really suffer with postpartum anxiety or depression.
Same.
And I was thriving. I was like, this is great.
I loved being a mom for the first time. Like,
Yes.
I wish I
could go back.
I wish I could go back and like, yeah, I don't know. I was so happy. I was so happy and I was so content and it was kind of dreamy a little bit.
Yep, it was. Yep.
Same thing. I don't think I really struggled with postpartum depression. I know I had like anxiety and like intrusive thoughts and that was all kind of new to me, but because you're still so new to it, you don't really know, like you don't put much weight into it almost, or I didn't at least. This is all different for everyone. So you could be listening and if you have a first baby, it could be completely different.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then second rocked my world.
Second rocked my world, postpartum anxiety, postpartum rage, which I didn't see. I had blinders on. I had no idea what was going on until looking back now. I'm like, why was nobody saying anything to me? The sleep I stressed. And I've always been big on sleep. And that was so hard. I was so obsessed with it and it was not healthy looking back.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that because my mom I remember she was talking about like a friend of ours who had a baby recently and she was saying, kind of like critiquing and saying like, God, she was like, I need to get her home by A, B, and C and get her down for a nap A, B, and C. And I'm very similar to my mom. I didn't stress about sleep. Like I did, like obviously I wanted to sleep, but I was kind of, when I put them down for a nap, they'll go down for a nap. Like I just, whatever. Yeah. And it all worked out. With my mom, she was like, I don't understand why she's so, and I was like, because you have no idea. Like you have no idea what is going on. And that is a form of it's just, it's the way anxiety.
I think I was like that before I had kids. When I would see people do things or get upset, moms, even friends of mine that had kids way before me, I was like, oh, well, it's not a big deal. Like whatever. And that's why I feel like since becoming a mom, I truly don't care what other moms do. Literally, if that is important to you, I'm so happy. If it's not important to me, who cares?
Cool.
Like, and that is cool. I think that's is so lacking sometimes in motherhood. It's so, oh, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. And it literally doesn't matter.
No, you know what you're going to find too, and this is like where I have kind of experienced a little bit of like, it's weird entering into the new era that I'm in and you're going to catch, it's weird. It's a weird era because for one, like on Instagram and social media, I feel like I've been in a funky place because it's not the same content that I've been sharing and not for nothing. Baby and newborn life is trendy. It is.
Yeah, it is.
And so when you get out of that phase, it's boring. It really, that's a good thing. Like it's not boring, but it's just like, it's different. And also like now you kind of do get a little bit more trepidatious about sharing differences because now that when you have kids that are acting out and stuff like that, then people start to nitpick and be like, maybe it's because of this, maybe it's because of this. And that's like where it's kind of funky, but it's also kind of nice too, because the moms like I've met, making mom friends, it's still a process, but it's much easier to now be in a group of moms in an elementary school and talk, because no one gives a shit about like the breastfeeding, and no one cares about baby-led weaning. Like no one's really giving a shit. I think the biggest like things that I hear is like red dye 40, which I don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
And screen time. So
which it's like, you just have to find the balance, whatever works for you. Like I truly.
Yeah. Whenever someone like because we've gotten into the play date phase. Have you done play dates yet?
Yep.
Is it funny? Do you find they're easier? I love play dates.
I love play dates. And we've done some without the mom too. We've done some drop offs, and that's been like, I'm like, this is cool. Like we have like a mutual thing going here.
I know, it's such
one
that's
less
a weird
kid
thing. Yeah, and that's a weird phase to get into. Also, like, but let's talk about that. Let's talk about this era, because there's such a weird, like, I didn't know when should I bring her to a birthday party and not staying, like, because that's.
Stay. I was like, is everybody staying? Is this okay? Like, what's the protocol?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't know.
Are they okay with it too? You know, I don't know how Cassidy is, but like Penny, it depends. She has to like feel out the environment. If she's very comfortable with this friend that she goes to, but certain other times she wants me to say, and I'm like, that's fine. Like, I totally get that too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, the same with Cassidy. I think Cassidy, my biggest thing, she is so outgoing that it's almost like I gotta rein her back a little bit, because she's at and she's at the phase too where she wants sleepovers. So that's a hard one, because I'm like, that's a, did you have sleepovers as a kid?
You know, my husband and I were just talking about this, and I did sometimes, but I hated it. I never wanted to be away from my parents. And now, like, looking back, I think about it, and it was kind of weird. Like the parents, like the dad up in his pajamas, and like just like the whole.
I hated it. I always hated the feeling of waking up the next morning and
somewhere else.
Yeah, and I was like,
you didn't know what to do. You wanted to be awake, and then your friend wasn't, and you were hungry, and so I don't know. We've kind of. Penny has asked about sleepovers too, and I'm just like, first of all, I think she's too young, and I'm not sure where we're gonna go with sleepovers either. I'm just not sure about that. But also, like, you know, you don't really have to sleep at someone else's house if you want to stay like a little later, you know, or you guys are outside playing, or you know, having like a bonfire in the summer. Like that's one thing, but like you can come home and sleep. Like I'll go pick. Even as they get older, like I'll come pick you up at 11 o'clock at night. Like I don't care.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have to be a sleepover. And I don't know.
We've done 2 sleepovers so far, and it's been here.
Okay.
And and that's my weird thing too, because I was kind of like foot down, we're not doing them. But then we have 2 good friends of mine that like one actually is pregnant with her 5th, and she doesn't have any family nearby. So I was like, funny enough, we connected because she followed me on here. And then she realized that we were in the same town, and then we realized that our kids are in the same school, and we just met that way. But I was like, I'd rather have like her oldest and Cassidy had a sleepover. And I was like, to be fair, I was like, I'll do this because there are certain people where I'm like, I want to know that they're comfy with me if they should ever need me.
Because especially if she doesn't have anybody.
Yeah.
And so you're like, if something ever happens, like I want you to know that they can come here and it's okay.
Yes. Yeah. And then we have another friend, same thing, where we've known them since we moved here. So I'm like, that's okay. But it's still like, that's such a funky thing. Because then now I'm getting other friends that are asking, and I'm like, I don't know you.
You're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's no perfect answer. I think that's the beauty of motherhood. Like you can say you're not going to do it and you can change your mind, or you can say there's going to be certain stipulations that I'm comfortable with this, and other ones I'm just like, no. And that's okay to put your foot down on those too.
Yeah, absolutely. You always have to go with the flow. I think that's the biggest thing. And that's probably what I would imagine you've probably learned with your third. So tell me that. How's the third?
My mom constantly tells me, you are so chill.
Yeah. Good.
Like the stuff that I think sometimes my mom's like, why are you not freaking out? And I'm just like, honestly, the best thing I've learned with my third is to embrace the chaos, because it is always going to be chaotic. We are outnumbered. They are crazy, but it's just, and I have to remind my husband that, because the household he grew up in, his mom was very like, put the foot down on things. And he sees, you know, in public when they're just being kind of, you know, kids. And I'm like, they're just being kids. Like it really is that simple. And they deserve to be a part of the society too.
Boys, I think my husband does the same, but we were out in California not too long ago for spring break, and we were with my brother, and they have 3 little kids also. So like, I think the age, they're 5, 3, and 1.5 and whatnot. So they're crazy as well. So we're all like, we're all nuts. So 6 kids combined, but all the 6 kids are out playing. We were at like a restaurant with like, outside where they could run. And my brother started getting like anxious, and same with Kev. And they're like, can you guys just, and my sister-in-law and I were like,
you're just sitting there, you're just like, it's fine.
They're fine.
Like, they're happy.
I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I always repeat in my head is, and I'm going to get it wrong right now, of course, it's like, are you correcting something because you are feeling a certain way, or is it because they're truly causing disruption? So you have to look and be like, are they disrupting others? Are they disrupting a place? Like, are they breaking things? Like, or is it because you feel that they should be doing something based off of, like it's, you kind of have to take a second and be like, okay, is this really how?
Right. Are they just being kids and having fun and doing the things that we wish sometimes that we could do too,
Yeah. And I think our culture too, American culture, we just don't like kids. I don't think we like kids.
It's true.
So we don't want kids out in public. And when, like, I know for me, when I go out in public, I want my kids to be on their shit, like, because I don't want other people looking at me. And I know now I don't care as much, but I know in the beginning I used to like really not like going out when they were chaotic, because I didn't want people looking at me being like, she's in above her head.
She doesn't have control over them.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I don't give a shit. I'm like,
but I think the more that you take them out, and that's something I've had to learn because I've avoided certain situations, or, we don't go out to eat very often. First of all, because it really is too much. And then they're wanting to eat on your lap and it's not enjoyable. So all the time, like we don't, some people go out way more and I'm like, kudos to you guys, but we get takeout.
That's what we do. That's what we do all the time. My parents will come over and they'll be like, do you want to go out to dinner? And I'm like, no. I'm like, can we just order?
Like, do you really think that that's going to be
fun?
No, the idea sounds nice. Right.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to go to a place where there's space for them to move around. But if I have to go sit in a restaurant where there's nowhere for them to go, they don't want to just sit in a seat and color. I'm sorry. They don't.
No, absolutely not. No, it's awful.
So, but the more that we go and do things, though, I do find that they get a lot better with just how they take in everything and are able to, I don't want to say act, but just kind of be in that environment around other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because it's like they're taking cues. They have to learn it from someone. So it's a process. You have to take a lot of deep breaths. But
yes, the third baby, I always tell people, I'm like, you know what? It's chaos. When I was making my list, we were making a list, pros and cons of a third. Like there were way more cons of a third. And I will tell somebody that money, got to get a bigger car, a bigger house. Like there's certain things that just we had to do. I mean, we moved into a new house. We still need a new car. Like my third Penny is climbing in through the trunk of our Explorer to get into the back seat. And that's what she does. And we're making it work because we had to get a new house.
Yep.
But like the third was everything I needed and more to become where I'm at right now as a mom and as me, as Emily. I don't think I would have gotten here like I did without that experience with her.
Well, that's how it was with me. Because I feel like Spencer really broke me. Like I want to say that because Spencer, like I feel I've really hit a low with him. And then when I got pregnant with Haley, I feel like I've hit a pretty, I didn't hit rock bottom after Haley, but I definitely went through some harder shit postpartum wise, like PMDD, all of that stuff that really came out that I've had to do. But again, I think it would have come out anyhow. It just, this time it got forced in my face and I've had to confront it and I've had to work with it and grow with it. Like that's my whole big thing is like, I've had to grow with it and try to figure out how to work this. But again,
to do for us when we were in the thick of like, having babies and breastfeeding and being up all night and doing all those things. And when you get out of that, then it's like, okay, so now I can do something for me.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at and that's also like another funky period of like where I'm sharing stuff online is I don't really want to talk about motherhood all the time.
No, because everything has changed for me on that. Yeah.
Because and it's hard because I'm like, with the animals and shit, like where I'm like, I can actually spend time to build a freaking chicken coop in my backyard. So that's the shit I'm going to share
but
with you.
You're pulling in a new audience for that too.
Yeah, but it's like, and I think this is where it gets funky, is we're in a period of life that we don't have a niche. We do not have a niche.
I don't, and that is so annoying.
I know, but it's also not. Like, I think it's great.
I know.
We're just not used to it, and that's what I'm hoping.
And the algorithm doesn't like that, which is irritating, because even just I've kind of started this whole health journey, just doing better for me. I always say I'm not on a diet. Like, I literally have just changed my life and just what I want to do, what my priorities are, how I'm fueling my body. So I'm doing that. And I also have taken up reading a lot, and I love to read, and I want to share more about those things. And I'm like, do I need to create a separate account for that? I don't want to do that. I just want to share what I want to share. And if you like it, great. And if that's not your thing, great.
Yeah. No, and that's why I created a separate page for my writing. And I was like, why am I doing that? I'm like, I don't, but at the same time, when I share that stuff on my main page, it goes, and I'm like,
and it's
but
so
if I share it on another page, then it gets seen. So I'm like, it's so dopey. But yeah, no. And it's just like, it's also funky too, because I feel like because there's so much at our fingertips now, I almost get a little overwhelmed by it, because I'm like, I don't, like, I know who I am a little bit, but at the same time, my mind has been all about something else, where I'm like, I'm trying to figure it out, because I also like, how old are you now? You're younger than me, right?
I'm 33.
Okay. So you're 2 years younger than me. Okay. How old were you when you got married?
27.
Okay. How old?
No, 26. I'm sorry.
Okay. How old were you when you had a baby?
28.
Okay. How old were you when you met your husband?
20.
Okay. I think that's how
21.
I met my husband at 22, and then we got engaged, and I got married at 25, had a baby at 27, like all of that stuff. But I feel like I got out of college.
We had Penny like a month after our 1 year anniversary.
Shut up. That's great.
I was pregnant within like 3 months. I could not wait.
That's so funny.
I don't regret any of that, but sometimes I'm like, man, I just wish we would have waited like just a little bit to have a little more of us. I feel like I see people doing that, and I'm like, good for you that you're doing that, because I was just
I think I was eager to grow up. I think I was so eager to grow up.
Same.
And I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I'm like, why did I do that? I'm like, because I even chatted before on like previous podcasts when I've had like women that come on that are in business and stuff like that. And I don't have like regret. Like, I don't like to say I have a regret, but like my biggest regret is I was so on this pipeline of growing up, and like, I set the bar low for myself almost, where I was like, I just want to be a mom. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. That's it.
Same. That was literally me. Literally.
And I don't know why not that there's anything wrong with that.
Wrong with it.
I feel empty.
But did your mom stay home?
Yes.
Okay, so mine did too. And I feel like that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
As well.
I think I just saw that, but I realized that I'm like, I love that I'm home with my kids, and I'm glad that I can do that. But at the same time, I sit at home and I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, you can only do so much at home.
Well, and I feel like that's now finding different interests for us though.
Yes.
Now is like the time that we're trying to like see what those things are. And I've taken a big step back from social media, because I think it clouds
whether
you're a consumer, a creator, or both. It's too much. There's so many different things coming at you in a million directions. And it's just like, sometimes I just want to be right where I am, and not.
That's all. Well, that's what I do. But I also get like, what frustrates me, not frustrates, it's just what overwhelms me is that you have a pressure to get on, and social media is all about the engagement. It's about what gets someone to engage right away. So it's like, my life isn't that exciting. Like, you're sitting on your bed in your suburban house. I'm sitting down in my basement in my house in the suburbs, and my kitchen's a rack upstairs. You should see the rest of my basement right now. It's just a shit show, but it's like, I get on, and sometimes I'm like, I don't have anything to share. Like,
it's a constant, just like new and everything. It's just like so fast paced, and it just can be, and sometimes I just don't have the energy to engage with it.
No.
And that's not that I don't love so many of the people that are on this app, and I want to be there, because I thought, do I want to like do this? And I'm like, I want to be there, but on my own terms.
That's how I am. That's how I am though. But you can be, because that's how I am. And honestly, I haven't been really like, I used to post a reel every single day.
Oh yeah.
And I used to make sure I did not miss. I maybe post 1 or 2 a week at this point. And I take off stories. I take every other day usually off. Yeah. Because I'm like, I don't care.
Well, sometimes I just don't know I'm just like, I don't know. Like,
because I feel like we're forced to share something and we're like, there's nothing and we don't need it. And I'd rather fill people's content with stuff that or their algorithm with stuff that actually is worth seeing, But I don't know.
Yeah, that's a wild thing. It's funny from where we first started and just how the grind that you're first at. And I mean, I guess it is a burnout, you're just like.
You absolutely get burned out by it because it's just you grind and trust me, like you can make last year I made it a full-time job. I think within the last 2 years, it became like a full-time job financially, which is awesome. But I kind of was like, I cried a lot the last 2 years. I said to Kev, I was like, this isn't really what I wanted it to be because at the same time, like, I'm so glad and fortunate that it became that way. But it's not going to be like that this year, I don't think. Right now, brands are awful. It's like
they're awful. The rates that they're giving are just laughable. It's like, are you serious?
But also, they are not wanting to work with anyone. So at all, like I have a manager and I messaged her and I was like, what is going on? Because this time last year, we already had like things lined up until December and now we have nothing. It's crickets. And she's like, it's scary right now because it's a recession. And I was like, well, actually, I kind of love it. So it's okay. I was
like, I'm fine.
I'm okay. Because I didn't intend, I got on and I say, same for you. Like we both got on to just keep ourselves busy during COVID.
Yeah. And I think so many did that. And so many have gone away. Because after that,
Yeah. There's so many accounts that I still am like, I don't know where they're at. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
I'm like, man, I used to see what they did every day. And now it's like.
Yeah. But also at the same time, too, is like, I've considered, like, I've gone through periods of being like, do I want to be done? But then there's like a fear of doing that, too, because social media makes you feel important in a way. Like
important, connected, especially
valued.
as a stay-at-home mom.
Yep. And I think that is a little scary too. And I think that's why moms have drawn into it because it's gratification for us. It's like it's that dopamine hit, but obviously it's a gratification where I think we're getting the trying to find this word in my head, the encouragement that we're so desperately seeking. There's a better word I was going for.
And just not feeling less alone or, not feeling alone in things that you're struggling with. Or things that you're thriving at and just hearing other people getting encouragement from that too.
Yeah. Okay. So going back to when you've been on in the past, you were also on, and I'm going to link all this stuff for you guys listening in the show notes. You were on a panel discussion. I want to do another one of those because I love
so fun.
It so much.
That was so fun. We should definitely do that.
I'll link in the show notes. We did this was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's been
a year.
About 2 years. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, it had to have been because didn't we do that after the Massachusetts mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
I know.
You guys listening probably have heard that.
Yeah.
That story, but I had a whole panel. I'll link the episode in the show notes, but I had 6 of you guys on, 6 of like my favorite accounts on here. Still follow all of you guys. Still with all you guys. But it was moms that have all openly shared about their postpartum depression, anxiety struggles, and just kind of talking about what that was like. How has that been for you? Obviously, I know you talked openly about that with the second time. How is it the third time? And even like through pregnancy, did you stay on medication? Have you been on medication?
I have been on medication. I have been on Zoloft since I had Maddie. So it's been it's just been about 4 years.
Okay. Did you have to get off of it? Is it pregnancy?
Nope. It was good on pregnancy. So I feel like that helped a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't, as you know as well, it doesn't take away everything. It simmers it down.
Yes. I describe it as my brain is now slippery and it sounds gross, but I'm like, I say it because a thought doesn't ruminate as much as it used to. Like I'll have a concern and sometimes I'll forget wait, what was I stressing over a second ago? Like, I'm like, I don't know what that was about. I don't understand. I don't cry as easily anymore either, which I kind of enjoy. So
yes, it takes a lot more for it to, it really has to build for me to have those moments. But before I started medication though, I started it and then I thought I didn't need it and I stopped pretty soon after starting. And then I had some really bad rage episodes, I know you've experienced kicking toys, throwing things, just being just literally out of body, just like I can't even handle it.
Function. Yeah.
And so being on Zoloft it has just helped just take that like off and help me be a better mom. 3 kids. My postpartum experience was the best that I had had. I was, like I said, it was way more chill. And Evelyn had 2 hospital stays as a newborn.
I don't remember that.
She was in the hospital at a week old with jaundice.
Okay. Oh, I remember that. Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And then at 7 weeks old, she got a UTI. So she was hospitalized for both of those. And so going through that, I was stopping breastfeeding. I easily made the decision to stop. And I don't know if that would have been as easy.
Yep.
I was just like, nope, I can't do this. Like I have 2 other kids. Like I can't it's not coming easy to me. Like breastfeeding initially came easy to me, but then just doing it whenever never did. The supply, all those things, and I just could not
keep up with.
Couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Having 3 and trying to meet, I think the hardest with having 3 and just my mental health is feeling like I can give enough to all of them.
I know.
I never want like my oldest, I feel like needs a lot of attention. She loves the like solo time, and it's easy to give it to her because she's older, so she can stay up a little later. She can do different things easier. But then my middle, I struggle that she's going to feel like the middle kid and that I'm not doing. So I think if anything, that's been my biggest struggle, is just feeling like my attention is like my time is split so hard
much.
And not,
yeah.
And then just feeling like I have nothing left to give at the end of the day. You know,
that's what I go through it all the time. Even like with my oldest too. Like I've noticed big because my younger 2 they're fire and ice. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's my second and my third.
I wonder if Evelyn's going to be like that with them.
I don't know if it's a second and third dynamic. I have no idea. I don't know if it's a boy and girl dynamic. I don't know, but they beat the living shit out of each other. And it's like, I just had it like before I got down here. All of a sudden I'm like getting ready and I hear crying and I'm like, what is wrong? And I know immediately she's going to say Spencer hurt me. And I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, can we not? But Cassidy gets so fed up and I feel bad. I think my guilt too is that I've been like, especially Kevin travels more these days. And like, I know your husband's out of town
all the time.
So like when we're out of town, I do have moments. Like I do have moments. Even the other day, I got the chickens and someone messaged me on Instagram. They're like, I just want to let you know that like, I think you are doing such a fabulous job supplying your kids with such wonderful memories. And I am trying that. Like I am someone that I kind of recently am in this phase of kind of like not connecting with my childhood self, but it's kind of like I had a prompt that I like writing, but it was like, if you could sit with your childhood self and walk home with them, like, what would you say to them? What would they say to you? What would they ask you? And I'm like, I just think back to my kid self and think about the things that I wanted back then. And some of them were irrational, but there are other things that I'm like, it's stupid, but like I wrote a letter to Santa Claus when I was a kid. And the thing I wanted every day was a fresh delivery of flowers. My mom saved the note.
That's not stupid. That's so sweet.
I know, but I think about that now and I'm like, that's why I love flowers. That's why I surround myself with flowers. But like, I always loved animals. So like, I'm at this place where I'm like, I was wanting my nose pierced. So like, I got my nose pierced. Like I'm doing things that like aren't out of hand, but things that like I've always wanted. They're filling my cup that I've always wanted that we kind of put on the back burner.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this person messaged me and I was like, well, you have to know that after I dropped after this whole chicken moment the next morning, I was dropping Cassidy off at school. So it was yesterday morning. And she was like, I don't think I want to be a mom. And I was like, why? And she's like, because I don't want to yell at him all the time like you do. And I looked at her and the amount of effort to not say, well, if you just fucking listened the first time I asked, we'd all be happy-go-lucky over here. But I was like, well, everyone kind of yells, babe. I was like, it's not unique. I said, I'm trying. I'm so sorry. I'm trying. And I was like,
and doing that though, like apologizing, talking to them, letting them see those things. We're doing more than we realize, even though it doesn't feel like it in that moment. Like they're getting something from that. It's huge for them. It really is.
Well, funny enough, we were at a Mother's Day thing yesterday and like all the kids fell out there like, mommy is blah,
we did
blah,
that
blah.
too. Yeah.
And another mom, it said, my mom always says, and one of the kids wrote, I'm sorry. And I looked at her and I called her name over and I pointed to it and I was like, I love this. And she started laughing, but I was like, but truly, I was like, I kind of love that they wrote this. And she's like, because I've been doing it a lot lately. My husband's been out of town. And I was like, but that's not a bad thing. I was like, again, I don't think like our parents did that. I don't think apologizing was like a thing.
If you apologizing and owning it and knowing, it's just hard. And I want them to know that what I'm doing is hard. I'm like, I'm doing for you guys. I always try to say, it's with the youngest, like it's hard. I have to do everything for her right now. Whereas you guys can do some of those things on your own and teaching them those things to do so that, it's
my big thing too, and I always say to like Cassidy, I'm like, well, one day if you do have kids, I'll come and help you. And I'm like, I'll come and help you. But I also think about that too, because I think a lot of like my parents don't do it as much, but they're not as like readily available to help because they have their own lives. They're retired and they're enjoying their retirement. That's great. But I think there are some parents that really do not want to help. Like, I think it's a comeuppance type of thing.
It's wild to me. Whenever I share, my parents are very involved and they're really, they live like 5 minutes down the road. So, when Sean's out of town, my mom's picking Penny up from school for me because Evelyn's napping. I'm so fortunate for that. And when I share about that, it breaks my heart, honestly, with the messages I'll get that just of people that don't have that and people that just, it's not because they don't live close or because they truly just don't want to. And it's just like wild to me because I cannot wait one day if they have kids to help them.
Yeah, that's all I want. Like, I was like,
that's all I want.
I was like, I want
to help you.
I even told my sister. My sister is 6 years younger than me, but I'm hoping she'll be engaged soon and on that train and whatnot. We're crossing our fingers. But I told her, I was like, that I'm going to watch your babies, right? And I was like, because I kind of don't want to get a real job. And I'm like,
this is it. I'm like, I'm going to have plenty to do when they're all in school.
And it kind of sounds nice to take care of a niece or a nephew where I don't have to
especially you can give them back.
Exactly. So I was like, that sounds great to me. But yeah, no, I think we're a generation of cycle breakers, like hugely
100%
cycle breaking. And it's scary. It's scary, especially just like, as you say, like when your mom kind of is like, shouldn't you be reacting more? And you're like, no, it's fine. It's like, you kind of do question yourself at moments where you're like, well, am I doing it wrong? Or it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that we got to figure out.
A lot of self-doubt. You're just like, I don't know. But I guess we're learning along the way too. There's no like perfect handbook to all of this. And
exactly. Okay. Well, last thing I want to talk about is obviously your health journey and more or less it's with your girls. I want to talk about that because I actually was writing this morning. Cassidy, I don't know if your girls have ever expressed it. My oldest, she's 7. She called herself ugly for the first time. And it broke my heart because I was like, that's not coming from me. It would never come from me. No. It would never come out of this house. I'm so careful, especially because I've had my own issues with eating.
Yep.
That I'm so careful that it just broke my heart to like hear the world kind of pushing back. Like, how are you with you on your health journey? I know you said you're not on a diet. It's like a whole lifestyle change.
Yeah.
How do you talk to your girls about it? Do you talk to them about it?
They're so funny because they'll talk about protein because I'm always talking about protein. Mainly because they don't ever eat enough protein. And I'm like, that's why you're hangry because you need stuff to fuel your body.
I know. Like, my kids are like, even Cassie started, I'm not hungry in the morning. I don't want breakfast. And I'm like, you need to eat something.
You need something.
I was like, just get something in your body, please.
Literally anything. And so I don't use like the words diet or I was, even like they jump, like I think you've talked about not doing the scale at like certain things are turning around. I think you've said. Yep. So my girls like love to jump on the scale. And I'm just like, I'll just like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, or, we're growing, we're getting taller, like our bodies are changing. And so we kind of just like, but like, I don't like focus on like the numbers, even with myself. I don't like I've talked about it on the internet as, an adult, but I don't really say to them, oh, I've lost, weight or anything like that. It's kind of just, I'm doing all these things for mommy to feel good. And they're right there alongside with me. They're seeing me work out and they're wanting to do those things just to move their body and to have fun. That's even us outside running around, us playing. And so I'm trying to show a positive thing. I was actually just talking to my mom about this because she shared with me that when she was in the 6th grade, she joined Weight Watchers. And I'll kind of leave that as you will. And she's like, I always have struggled with my body because of that. and where I was at with that and what I was expected to look like. And I can't even wrap my head around that. And I feel like that generation, that was like a popular.
That was, so I can relate to that with your mom. I was 11. I remember being at a lunch table and knowing how many points were in an Oreo. And it was because my mom always was doing Weight Watchers. So, and it wasn't because like, and I don't remember my mom ever critiquing herself, but I know. And I remember like being like, I don't know why I knew that, like why I clung on to that. But I remember the first time I ever thought it was fat was at 9. And I know that I have 2 distinct memories of it where we were on a family vacation. And it was like when I started going through like little, I was 9. So it was like little puberty, you know, like when you start getting a little buds, little breast buds and all that weird stuff. And I had a training bra. So I remember that, but I think it was the start of like that awkward body moment. And I remember just being on a family vacation, eating ice cream. And all of a sudden a voice just in my head was like, you're fat. You should put this away. And I remember just like, the fuck? Like, I just remember that. And at 11, but I remember talking to my sister and I said, I don't know why I knew like the Weight Watcher stuff. I don't think like mom was like that
openly telling you.
And my mom ended up admitting to my sister. And I've talked about this with someone else that at that age, and especially with having girls gain weight. Girls will gain weight because hormonally, it is just what our bodies are meant to do. So like as girls go through puberty, it is very common for them to start looking a little heavier, like, and getting a tummy and getting all of that stuff. But not every girl's like that, and whatever, but it's more common for girls to be putting on weight during that time. And I think it scared my mom that she ended up showing me a little bit of it. And my mom admitted it to my sister and she felt bad. And she was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was helping because because at the same, I even look at it like my daughters follow my husband's body type and they're probably going to be tall and they're going to be strong girls. And they're not twigs. They're not like these little twigs. My son is.
And my girls.
No.
Yeah, they're tall. They were born over, 2 were over 9 pounds. They were.
Mine were 8, 9, 8, 1, and 8 pounds. So they got smaller, funny enough, as they got down.
Yeah, that is funny.
But with them, like even just being out in California, my niece has a very similar body style. And I looked at my sister and I was like, I'm really glad that like all of our girls kind of look similar because like because you have some girls like Cassidy is, she looks like she could be 9 or 10 because she's just tall.
I feel like Cassidy and Penny are very similar. And Penny gets constantly she's so tall. Like she's so tall. Like, and she really does look, I think she's at the doctor, they've said she's the height of like almost a second grader and she's only in kindergarten.
Yeah. Well, and that would be Cassidy then. So that's how it is. And I thankfully have 2 really good girlfriends who have very similar bodies. Like they're both 5'7", 5'8". Yeah. Like I'm going to guess like size 10, whatever. Like they're beautiful, beautiful girls. And that's how their bodies have always been. And I just adore them. And I'm so glad that they're in my life because I have a feeling that that's probably what my daughter's bodies are going to look like. Yeah. And I'm like, I just want them to see a representation of all of that because it's just, I think that was my hard thing is like, I just always felt out of place. I always felt, I don't know, it's so silly.
I think just talking about with them a lot that like everybody's body is different and that everybody looks different. Mm-hmm. Even, one of our neighbor boys, he's in kindergarten and Penny is probably an entire foot taller than him.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, why am I so much taller? And I'm just
and I'm like,
and boys, like they just grow a little bit differently, but everybody looks different and that's okay. That's what makes us who we are. So I think that instilling that with them is more than we can ever do, just constantly saying that, I don't look like other moms, just like other moms don't look like me.
And my big thing with Cassie is like when she said she was ugly, I looked at her and I was like, don't say that. I was like, you're beautiful. And I said, but would you say that to your friend that they look ugly? And she said, no. And I said, so why would you say that to yourself? And I said, so don't do that. But I think that's the big portion of like motherhood that I love is like, it's the learning. It's like almost healing me. Like I almost
healing
like the
me.
things that yes. And I think that's what it's done. It's healed me.
It makes you stop and think, how do I want to handle this? Kind of catches you off guard sometimes. And you're just like, okay. But then it makes you think about how going forward, okay, she thought that once, so that's not going to be the last time that she's going to think that. So it's like, how are we going to reframe things so that she starts to believe it herself that that's not true.
No, it's true. That's like the intimidating thing, because we have to push back on a lot of stuff too. Like, especially if you grew up in that diet world or like that diet culture type of thing. Like, I posted about it last year, but like I said, how great is it that we're in a do you remember the video that we're in a generation where we don't have to tell our girls to suck their tummies in?
Yep.
Because that was a big thing that like I remember.
I remember always sucking my stomach in.
I remember like always doing it. You always had your stomach sucked in. I even do it now. Like I catch myself and I'm like, I don't even know how to stop it. And
like, I'm sorry, it's not supposed to look like you have 3 kids.
No, and if my stomach, like if I'm bloated or any of that, I cannot stand that feeling, because I am so warped about that my stomach needs to be a certain appearance that I'm like, this is so fucked up. I'm like, it's so stupid. And I'm like, but you have to, there are moments that I have to catch myself, because there are moments where I want to look at my daughter and be like, suck your tummy in. And I'm like, I have to stop it. I don't. I never do. But I'm like, God, like, it's just so much.
I know. It messes you up. It really does.
Yeah. That's the thing about motherhood. I feel like that's like every baby unearths something. And I think that's why with the third is just like you just unearth a little bit more of like what's been buried in you. And I think that's what with Haley, it really unearthed a chunk of me where I'm like, okay, we're gonna handle this now.
And we're gonna work on this, and we're gonna become better.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's always a journey. Isn't it fun?
You know what? It is. It's a fun journey. It's chaos, but like I said, you just gotta embrace it. And I know everybody is like, don't tell me that I'm gonna miss this. You know what? I am gonna miss it one day.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I am try so hard to remind myself when things just feel like too much, like it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. Like, it is hard, but also like there is going to be a day that this isn't going to be like this. And then we're going to be like, were we just crazy the whole time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My God, that's probably why I think moms go through like amnesia. Like when our parents, like when they look back and they're like, I don't understand. I'm like, you probably forget. I know. And I really hope I don't forget that. Like,
I hope I don't either.
Because I
don't try to just take these snapshots up here, just to remember.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that's the part of life too, is that I'm starting to get more of those moments. And that's what I really enjoy is like, and that might be why you're backing off of social media too, is because like, I don't feel like I need it as much. I don't feel like I need my camera to remember as much. But in the newborn stage, I recorded everything, because I know looking back there, I don't remember Spencer's entire
such a fog. No, it was such a fog during that time.
I have such guilt about it with Spencer, especially because like between COVID and postpartum, I don't remember anything. Like I remember, and I had such a hard time connecting with him until he was like 2, where I was like, because I was just in such a funk. I loved him. I took care of him, but it was like all of a sudden I remember like lights were on. And I'm like, oh, here we are again. But yeah, it's a journey. So
it is.
Yay. Okay. Well, as we wrap up, what would you give advice for someone listening, expecting their third? I know you said embracing the chaos, obviously.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Embrace the chaos. Know that it's okay when it just feels really hard, but know that it's going to get so much better. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There are so many times that I was like, I can't do this. This is too much. And I'm almost just over a year. She's almost a year and a half old. And like the light is there. It is, I mean, I still have really hard moments, but like it is there. And now I was so sad to close, even if you're closing the baby chapter or if you think you're going to have more. I was so sad to close the baby chapter.
I was so sad.
And I know you went through a similar thing and
grieved. I grieved hard for like a whole year. Like, and I really realized that it was like such a, it's
pivotal
really
moment. And
it's
such a pivotal moment in your life, like a lead up to this. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, you're done.
Yeah. It's like you've spent your whole life building the storyline and now you're like, got to settle into it where you're like, I don't know if I want
to.
Now I
have to raise them. Now we have to raise them. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is just such a cool journey.
It's so cool
that we're on now. Like seeing them become who they are as their parents is literally like, it makes me emotional just thinking about it because it's just so, and I think I was watching you even a year ago and thinking, and you even saying to me, like, it's going to get better. Like, it's going to get easier. And it really, like, it truly does. So if you really want the third, go for it. Know that the first year is hard, just like it is with any baby, but then it gets so much better and you're just going to be along for the ride.
Exactly. I think my big thing, I talked to a mom, I was at a party and she had just had her second. So she was like kind of in her first, I think was only like 20 months old. I was like, it was a small age gap.
Yeah.
And she was definitely a little more like this. And meanwhile, I have like Haley zip lining across over there. And I'm like, okay, cool, over there.
Right.
And I remember she was like, I hope I get to that point. And I was like, the thing is, I was like, no one has to have a third. You don't have to have a third to learn these lessons. It's just that, like, I think what the third did for me is that it showed me that, like, the first, you kind of take everything personal and everything you do, you kind of take everything as being like, are they acting this way because I did it? Like, you're very on eggshells. Second one, you're still on eggshells, but now that doubt creeps in because of the split. And like, are my kids acting this way because I had a second one? There's guilt involved. And then when you have a third, you realize they're all just kids. Like, this is how it's always been. You're not doing anything wrong. I think you just get like reaffirmed of being like, no, this is like, I didn't need to stress as much. The first and second time I was way too overstressed and I didn't need to be because they're all the same.
Truly.
They're literally
and you wouldn't know. You don't know. And so, and that's okay.
No.
If you're stressed, that's okay. We're all been there.
Oh,
like
God,
literally.
Yes. I'm stressed every single day of my life.
I was going to say, I literally, at 7:30 this morning, I was telling Sean, I'm like, I'm already having anxiety at 6:30 this morning because everybody's just, I mean, they wake up and they're just like off to the races. And I'm just like, literally, like, can we have like 5 seconds?
That period of laying down in bed after they are all in bed is like
it's beautiful.
It is. I wish I can encapsulate the feeling that I have because the moment I feel my body hit the mattress and it's quiet and I have no one asking me for anything. Oh my God.
It is
bliss.
Pure bliss.
But that hard part, but then if I were to like, and then like, because Mother's Day, by the way, happy almost Mother's Day.
Yes, happy almost Mother's Day.
But because of Mother's Day, like you see, like people wanting time away from their kids. I would love that. I would love that. Except I would get bored.
I know. I would be too. So I literally wouldn't. Like, I'm good with like a couple hours, honestly. If I'm being realistic, like, I'm just like, give me a little bit. And then I'm like, I want to go back home. I want to be with my kids.
I don't even want to like, and that too, like, I don't necessarily need to like, I see moms are like, I want a hotel room. I'm like, no. Like, I just want to be in my own bedroom where like everyone's gone for a little bit.
I want to be in my house by myself. Like literally, that is my favorite. My Roman empire is being in my house alone and just being able to meander around, do what I want to do. Nobody's bothering me.
I finally am getting that this year. That's like a great thing with preschool. So I just have like a few hours 3 times a week where I'm like, it's the best. Except 6 season has like killed us. I have a cough right now. I'm like trying to suppress it.
Literally, like let's not. That gave me PTSD. Let's not even go back. This year of sickness, like literally.
It's awful.
No more.
Awful.
Literally.
Awful. Okay, well, we've been chit-chatting. I love it. I love this chit-chat.
I love you, Mary. Thank you.
I love you, Emily. Thank you for just being a friend, like a virtual friend. It's so weird. We've never met in person.
I know.
We need to
I know.
that.
Everybody's been doing these group get-togethers, so I think we need to.
No, I got invited to go on the one that with the Honestly Caitlin and stuff, but I couldn't make it work. But I feel like I would have been the odd duck out because I feel like those girls are all so cool.
I know. I always feel like I see them and I'm like, how would I feel on something like that?
I mean, I got together. We did like the LA when I went with Kim Perry and I went with Katie.
And Katie, I love both of them. Oh my gosh.
But it's and I think the other girls that would have been great too. I just got like, well, timing didn't work out, but also I got like a little scared. And I was like,
you get like imposter syndrome. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I get that all the time. People look at me and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm like, I get imposter syndrome all the time. Like literally.
I literally don't know.
I just don't know. I just decide to ignore it at this point.
Yeah.
It's probably the Lexapro. Lexapro's probably eliminated that where I'm like, I forget about it after a little bit. So it's all good. But okay, I'm going to link Emily's page down in the show notes. Please go follow her. Please, please, please go follow her just because I love Emily's content. And she's just, I hate to say real, like everyone I think is real, but like there are certain moms on here that I really just truly adore because they're not bullshitting. Like no one's bullshitting. Like everyone is just doing what they can. I kind of like that. Like when you say like, I'm taking a step back from social media, I think we need to encourage creators to do that. Like we need to encourage creators, especially if we really adore them, do that more, like encourage them, encourage them to take a break, go encourage them to live a life. Because that's the thing is like, I don't know, like I feel like we get so overwhelmed that like we want to showcase a life, but it's hard
to do that. Are you really living it?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like,
you need to lean into where you're at. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but please go follow Emily, and I'm going to have you back on again.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll check in and see how everything is going. But yeah, what do you hope for? What's your plan with social media in the next year? What's your dream? Let's see.
Dream.
Last question for you.
I think just now, after having my third and just being where I'm at, is just reminding us that we were a person before we were a mom, and that if you even only get a minute for yourself, that you deserve that minute to take for yourself. Because I overlooked things for myself so much because I thought that I only needed to be mom. And it's been a really cool thing seeing myself do things. I signed up for a half marathon. I'm running a half marathon in August.
Good for you. Where's that?
It's actually going to be just in Northwest Indiana. So it's close to home.
Okay.
So I'm really excited, but I hope to do the Indy Mini next spring. So I hope to do that one because it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And I never could have seen myself doing something like that. Probably before kids. I feel like hard things, I was just like, nah. And now I'm like, I've had kids. Like, I literally feel like I could do anything. And I know that sounds like, but it's just pushing myself, like knowing my body can do hard things, and seeing the outcome of that has been really cool. Just encouraging moms to do for them and to live that, because when our kids are grown, it's going to be us. And what are you going to say, that you did for you, even if it's not anything health related, even just doing a hobby that you used to love or that you want to learn to love,
Yeah,
taking
I even
that time for you.
Even just like having put on a song. Like sometimes I just do that, like something that just makes you feel seen. Yes. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be like a spa day, but just putting on a song that maybe at 16 years old made you dance in your room. Go put that on.
You can blast, or while you're driving around.
Because it's
song.
Little stuff like that I've like started to do more, where I'm like, I realize that like showing yourself like awareness is like not always like the most intricate of self-care. It's like so tiny and stuff like that.
And letting your kids see that too, that you're having fun and loving certain things. And that's good for them to see too.
I think that sometimes why moms are like always popping up babies, because I think we get so scared of what's
to come.
What's to come and finding ourselves. Because I think that was hard for me with closing the chapter, was like, I now have to sit with myself, and that's scary to do. Yeah. But you will, and you're going to do it.
And that's probably going to be better than you thought.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, okay. Yay. Well, love you guys. Thank you, Emily.
Love you. Thank you.
Always.
Hey. All right, Mama, that is a wrap on today's episode of Picking Daisies. I hope today's chat left you feeling seen, understood, and maybe even gave you a good laugh along the way. As we all know, motherhood isn't easy, life isn't easy, but it's moments like these where we can connect and share our stories that really help make that load feel a lot lighter. So if you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean the world to me if you could take a moment to leave a rating and review. Your feedback not only will help this show grow, but also it will make sure it reaches other moms who might need that same dose of honesty, humor, and heart. And don't forget, if something in today's episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, or hop on over to Instagram or wherever you connect on social media and keep the conversation going. I love hearing your stories and being a part of this journey with you. Thank you for being here and for showing up for yourself, and then of course sharing that space with me. So until next time, remember, we all grow through what we go through. You've got this, Mama. I'll see you next week.